Everybody. My name is Nathaniel Brickhouse. I'm the Assistant Director of Regional Recruitment here at Loyola University Maryland. Thanks for taking a little bit out of your time, out of your day, to learn a little bit more about Loyola. I hope that this is going to be a really informative presentation. I hope that you really get a sense for what the education at Loyola Maryland would be. But I really do hope just to give you some overall tips and tricks for the college search process as well. So I really hope that you enjoy this. My plan is to present for about 20 or 25 minutes and hopefully to have the last 5 minutes just to answer your questions. And I think there is a chat feature in the discussion part over there on the right. And with that, I'm going to start sharing my screen. And I hope that you can all see this just fine. Again, thanks for joining me here to learn a little bit more about Loyola University Maryland. And of course, this is for all of you looking for your undergraduate experience. And I like to start here on this slide with our motto, which is strong truths well lived, for a couple reasons. First of which is that this building in the back is actually the humanities building, which houses our admission office. So when you get a chance to actually step foot on campus, this is where your tour will start. But I like to start here as well because these are the things that you're going to hear throughout my presentation. And these are really the things that you should expect from the Loyola Maryland experience. So strong, that speaks to the rigor of the classes, the overall academics. Truths, that kind of delves into those morals, kind of the truths about yourself that you will experience in these 4 growth and self-reflection. Well means that we want you to do these things well. The Jesuit phrase, we're a Jesuit school, is cura personalis, care for the whole person. So we want you to be doing well academically, of course, but we want you to grow and develop and be well physically, just healthy, spiritually, as well as academically. And then lastly, we want you to live these things. It's a very residential campus, so it's a very residential experience. We want you to take what you're learning in class and go out and live it and apply it to the real world. And strong truths well lived is something that I think you're going to hear reflected throughout my presentation here tonight and throughout any further research that you do about Loyola Maryland. So originally we were Loyola College in Maryland, which is a mouthful. We were founded way back in 1852. And like I mentioned earlier, we're a Jesuit school. We're a private Jesuit Catholic liberal arts school. And we're named after St. Ignatius Loyola, who founded the Jesuit order. So that's why you'll hear that name Loyola crop up a few times. You can see there on the right, our mission is to inspire students to learn, lead, and serve in a diverse and changing world. So if you know anything about the Jesuits, the first thing that comes to mind might be the Pope. Second thing, most likely, is education. The Jesuit model of education is the oldest continuous model in the history of the world. It's about 500 years old. So the Jesuit education is really going to prepare you for jobs that frankly don't exist yet. They're going to give you the skills that you need to really hit the ground running right after you graduate, but really continue to run, decades after that graduation, decades after your undergrad experience with us is over. So you will be joining Greyhound Nation. Our mascot is the Greyhound, and this is a biological fact. The Greyhound has the largest heart of any dog, and this is really reflected in our students and our student body. So there's a lot to get involved with on campus. Like I mentioned earlier, it's a very residential campus. About 20% of our student body comes from the state of Maryland. So the other 80% are from everywhere else in the United States and beyond. We do have international students as well. So there are a lot of students from New Jersey and Pennsylvania, like you can see here, a lot from New York, New England, growing numbers from Florida and Texas and California and the West Coast. All that is to say that this is not really a suitcase school where the majority of our students leave for the weekend. You're certainly welcome to leave for the weekend if you would like. But 82% of our students choose to live on campus all 4 years, really become part of that campus community. And really, Baltimore, the city of Baltimore is right there. So it's kind of a best of both worlds where you get that great campus experience and you have access to a big city. But all that means is that it's a very vibrant campus life. And it is really an experience that's based around campus. So it's not one of those situations where everyone comes in knowing their roommate from high school, or a vast majority of their, freshman year friends are going to be from high school. Princeton Review puts our dorms 10th best in the country, so you might spend some time in there, but we really want you to get involved on campus once you're here. Like I mentioned, you're also going to be joining Baltimore in addition to the Greyhound community. And I like this. It says seize Baltimore's moment. And that's because Baltimore has really been experiencing a renaissance in the past 5 or 6 years, really a lot of growth and kind of rebirth in Baltimore. So we are about 10 to 15 minutes north of downtown Baltimore, but that means that you have access to everything that the city offers without necessarily maybe being overwhelmed by it. But there's a lot that Baltimore offers. First, in terms of just things like internship opportunities, research opportunities. There are a lot of financial institutions, Fortune 500 companies based in Baltimore. You can see Under Armour's global headquarters is there on the bottom left. If you're an entrepreneur or interested in that, there are a lot of incubators in Baltimore. So it's a great city to be a young entrepreneur. And it's not a college town in the sense that it's not a city founded or built around a college, but it very much is a college town in the fact that there are 14 other universities in the city of Baltimore, and 1 out of every 6 people in Baltimore is a college student. So you're not in a small college town, but you're in a city, a town where there are a lot of colleges and a lot of other college students. It's nicknamed the City of Neighborhoods. So every neighborhood has its own very distinct atmosphere and feel and food. We are number 9 by Yelp in terms of best foodie cities. So try the seafood if you get a chance to visit. But there are also a lot of arts and museums and theater to get involved with in Baltimore. Again, not that you would need to leave campus to find things to do and get involved, but having Baltimore there really just kind of opens up the world to you guys once you're here. So you're going to join Greyhound Nation. You're going to join the Baltimore community. But we know that that transition to college can be a lot. It's fairly daunting, honestly. And for most of you, this is going to be that first time that you've spent a significant amount of time away from home. So we have this universal first-year advising experience called Messina. And by the way, Messina is just the city in Italy where St. Loyola founded his first university. So that's where that name comes from. And basically what this is 2 classes that you'll take your first year, one in the fall semester, one in the spring. Very small classes, capped at 15 students, and you take both of those classes with the same 15. So you have a cohort, your band of brothers, right off the bat, even before you've maybe met the people on your hall. You know that you're going to spend the year with these 15 or 16 students and really get to know them very well. You get to choose the theme for these classes. And these 2 classes are going to be in 2 distinct academic areas linked by that theme. So could be a business course and a philosophy course looking at business ethics or something like that. So you get to choose the theme and you get to rank your choices. What I really like about Messina is that one of your professors for those 2 classes is actually going to be your academic advisor. And you're going to have an academic advisor no matter what school you look at or end up at. But very rarely will they be a faculty member, and even more rarely will they be a professor that you actually take a class with. So with us, through Messina, your professor is going to be your academic advisor and is really going to get to know you very well, both as a student inside their classroom, so they're going to know you very well academically, but also just as a person, as a part of the Loyola community. They're going to spend 1 hour a week with you for an enrichment hour just to do something fun. It could be something on campus, could be going into Baltimore and doing something fun that way. So they really want to get to know you and your cohort outside the classroom as well. And then the very last part of this is that you'll have a student advisor called an evergreen advisor. We're nicknamed the Evergreen Campus, and I think you can see why based on these photos that are in these slides. And that's why there's that pine tree on top of the globe up top above Messina. So you're going to have your evergreen, your student advisor, who went through your first year experience at the very max 3 years ago, there to answer questions on things to do on campus, things to do in Baltimore, maybe questions you wouldn't or shouldn't ask a professor, faculty member. So you have a lot of people in your corner right off the bat, making sure that that transition to college goes as smoothly as possible. And then with us, since we're a liberal arts institution, you won't declare your major until first semester of your sophomore year. And that's at the end of your first semester. So really, you have those first 3 semesters to explore academically, breathe a bit. You're not locked into any one thing right away. And your Messina advisor, your academic advisor, will help you with that major declaration process. So I've talked about the first year of academics, and I do want to give you a sense of kind of the overall academic feel, because theoretically, at least, this is why you're coming to college. This is why you're looking to go to school, is to get that education. And if you're sitting next to parents, this is where you nod a lot and get some brownie points. What I really like to emphasize about a Loyola Maryland education is that it is a very personal one. Classes are just 20 on average. I like average class size because that's what you'll actually be living. But if you prefer student to faculty ratio, that's 12-1 with us. And you're always taught by a professor. We don't have TAs, teachers assistants, or grad students leading our classes. So you really get to know your Messina professor, but you're really going to get to know your professors across the board. And you're going to be able to raise your hand, be called upon by name, be part of that classroom discussion. And like I've mentioned too, we are a liberal arts university. So all of our Loyola Maryland students, regardless of major, will take our core curriculum. Some other schools will call those general education requirements, which I think sounds a little clinical and cold. So I like the core. And basically what this is we want you to explore academically before you've declared your major. We want you to be a scientist who can communicate your ideas effectively. We want you to be ethical business people. We want you to be able to have all the skills that you need even before you know you need them. So all of our students are going to take a couple science classes, at least a couple humanities, social science classes, a language component, either a philosophy or a theology class, your choice. And like I've mentioned earlier, you declare your major your second year, first semester, but you can start taking classes in your major right off the bat as long as you fulfill those prereqs. So for us, we do have a Selinger School of Business. We have a School of Education and a School of Arts and Sciences. But you can double major in business and philosophy or education and marketing. With us, once you're accepted into Loyola Maryland, you have access to all of our academic programs. So there's no sophomore year business school application or anything like that. You don't have to apply to us to a specific school or a specific major. You just apply to us. About 40% of our applicants each year apply undecided. So maybe you have an idea of what you do want to major in. That's great. Come freshman year and start taking classes in that. Maybe you're a little like me and you have no idea what you want to do. That's fine too. We're going to help you out with that. All of that one-on-one advising I've talked about is going to help you with that. The Jesuit word for that, by the way, is discernment. We want you to discern who you want to be and what you want to do. And then the very last thing I'll mention is that, again, you do have a while before you have to declare your major, but know that we have a lot of those desired majors that a lot of people are thinking about right now. So we have engineering, we have business, we have pre-health, we have psychology, a lot of those that are very popular right now, kind of when you're thinking about your college experience, we offer, and again, we offer them on a very one-on-one personal basis. So like I've mentioned, most of our students will live on campus all 4 years by choice, 82%. So there's a lot to get involved with on the Evergreen campus. First of which is this picture is of our Fitness and Aquatic Center, FAC, we call it the FAC. This is a really state-of-the-art facility, has an Olympic-sized pool. Michael Phelps is not a Greyhound alum, but he is a Baltimore native, and he actually trained for the Olympics in this pool, which is really cool. But there's a lot to get involved with across the board. There are about 200 different clubs and organizations. In the bottom left there, we are Division I when it comes to sports. We participate in the Patriot League. Lacrosse is our most popular, and that's typically our homecoming game every year. We do have club and intramural sports as well. There are a lot of art clubs and organizations, and with us, you do not need to be an art major or minor to get involved. So if you're doing theater right now, just as a hobby, just as an extracurricular in high school, and you want to continue that at the college level, you can do that, and you don't have to be a theater major or minor. We have religious groups and organizations, diversity groups and organizations, just fun things like ukulele club, which you can see in the top right. And that's, again, a picture of our quad, the Evergreen campus. Top left is not on our campus. Those mountains really wouldn't match up to the geography of Baltimore, Maryland. This is a picture of one of our study abroad programs. And this is something that I really want to emphasize and encourage you guys to think about. 2/3 of our student body will study abroad, which is huge. That is really just about as high a percentage as you'll see from any school. So this is something that Loyola really encourages our students to do. And I personally encourage all of you to study abroad. Even if you don't end up with Loyola Maryland, of course, I hope that you do. One of my biggest pieces of advice to incoming college students is study abroad if you can. So for us, it is very flexible in terms of academics. Most students study abroad their junior year, so you have some time to plan that out as well. Every major can study abroad. There are programs that are very major specific, but there are others that will really work with any major. And it is also flexible with us financially. These are Loyola programs, so your Loyola financial aid follows you abroad. So for the vast majority of our programs, you're going to pay exactly what you do at Loyola, maybe save some money for travel and food and fun stuff like that. But this is something that is, with us, available and accessible for every single student. And again, definitely look into studying abroad if you can. It is a really life-changing experience, really expands your worldview. There is really no other time in your life where you can just decide to go live in France for half a year and actually make that a reality. So take advantage of it if you can. It's really accessible and diverse in terms of just geography of where our programs are. We really have them spread across the globe. So study abroad if you can. I'm going to change gears a little bit. If I have any current seniors in the audience right now, this application season is almost upon you. So I will talk about our application a little bit. So we are on the Common application. That's how you apply to Loyola University Maryland. So if you don't know what the Common application is, it is kind of there in the name. It's an application that is shared by a really wide variety of schools. It is the most common way to apply. So the essay for the Common App will be the same for all of the Common application schools you're applying to. So you only have to submit that once. The essay prompts for the Common App really don't change drastically year to year. So if you haven't started your application yet, no worries. You can go on and start looking at the essay prompts and start getting those ideas, kind of what you want your theme to be. Of course, we do require an official high school transcript. We're going to look at your grades, what courses you're taking, what courses your high school offers, and your weighted GPA is the one that we prefer. We do require a counselor recommendation letter. We require at least one teacher recommendation letter. We have an application fee of $60. And we do have standardized test scores listed here with a couple asterisks because we're test optional. We've been this way since 2010, so nothing's going to change for us in terms of test policy this year. So as you can read, scores are not required for admission or scholarship consideration. So about 40% of our applicants every year will go test optional. It doesn't change how we in the admissions office read those applications. There's nothing missing from a test optional app. There's nothing that we make you do in place of those scores. So there's not any additional essay or requirements or anything like that. Really doesn't change anything on your end, doesn't change anything on our end. And it also doesn't change anything on the merit scholarship end. So if you go test optional, really nothing to worry about, nothing to be nervous about, doesn't change how we read your application in any way. And we're kind of expecting to see a few more test optional applications this year with all the weirdness around actually taking the tests. This is our average admitted student profile. So about a 3.6 average weighted, if possible, GPA. Again, not required, but our middle 50% for the SAT is an 1160 to 1330, 26 to 31 for the ACT. So if you fall in that range or above it, great. Feel free to submit your scores. If you fall below that range, it might be in your best interest to not submit. Two different ways to apply to Loyola University Maryland, the first of which is early action. That deadline is November 15th, and then the latest you'd hear back is January 15th. Typically, we'll have those decisions out by Christmas. And regular decision, our deadline is January 15th. I love that we give you guys a couple extra weeks. January 1st is such a weird deadline in my mind. And then the latest you'd hear back if you applied regular decision is April 1st. And that's kind of typical for most schools, regular decision deadline. This is always worth asking about because every school is going to award scholarships and financial aid differently. So with us at Loyola Maryland, merit-based scholarships are awarded by us in the Office of Undergraduate Admission. You're automatically looked at for this, so there's no extra steps to be considered for merit scholarships. You're going to get notified of your merit award right when you get your decision. And this is actually slightly outdated. Scholarships are going to range this year from $20,000 to $30,000. So we raised our minimum a little bit, which I really like. For us, need-based financial aid is awarded by a separate office. That's awarded by the Office of Financial Aid. And again, that's not always going to be the case, so it can't hurt to ask based on the schools you're looking at. For need-based financial aid, we require the FAFSA, which is a federal form. And since we're on the common application, which is run by the College Board, we don't require it, but we strongly recommend the CSS profile. Typically goes into a little more detail and gets you a little more aid. Our four-year average is 92% of our students receiving some sort of financial aid. For last year's class, that was 98%. So just in terms of probability, sheer statistics, you most likely will receive financial aid if you apply for it. And then statistically speaking, we give out quite a bit. Our average financial aid package is between $35,000 and $36,000 a year. So if you're Googling a school's tuition, really doesn't tell the whole story. Really look into what kind of aid they give, what the average net price actually is, and what the average financial aid package actually is, because that's going to give you a much clearer view or much more personal view of what you would be expected to pay. So we kind of just talked about cost. So why is a Loyola Maryland education worth it? I think it boils down to three things, which I hope you've kind of heard over the course of this presentation. First, experience, also accessibility, and then lastly, the outcomes. So I'm going to start at the top. First, you're going to graduate with experience. So 80% of our graduates will graduate having done some sort of hands-on real-world experience. So that could be the thing that you see on the right. It could be study abroad. 2/3 of our grads study abroad, so it could be that study abroad experience. It could be a research project. It could be helping out a professor with research. Could be an internship or some sort of kind of hands-on learning experience like that. Could be a capstone project if you're an engineering student. We have courses that have service learning components as well. So we want you to take what you're learning in these small professor-led discussion-based classes and then go out into the world and do something with it. You're going to graduate on time with us. We like to talk about our 4-year graduation rate, which is not required. Schools are required to submit their 6-year graduation rate. I don't know about you, but I would be planning to graduate in 4. And our 4-year graduation rate is 80%, which depends on the year, but that's typically 20 to 30 points higher than the national average. So I think all of that one-on-one help and advising, particularly that first year with Messina, I think that really helps. The Career Center helps kind of plan out your 4 years of undergrad and then beyond. And they really help with the leftmost thing. You're going to graduate with a promising future. 98% of our graduates within 6 to 9 months will either be in grad school or have that first placement job. So you're really going to hit the ground running, and you're going to continue to sprint. You're going to have value added to your career. So we're top 2% in what's called mid-career salary. And this is a study done by the Brookings Institute. And they basically look at graduates from different universities, and they look at their salary. So really just their sheer earnings based on, again, where they graduated school. And that data has shown that our graduates are just doing really well a few decades into their careers. And I think it really has to do with all of the skills that our graduates get at the end of during their 4 years with us. I think too, it's kind of what I talked about at the very top of this presentation, kind of that Jesuit idea of adaptability and being able to continue to learn throughout your life. So I really hope that this has been a really good overview of Loyola Maryland. I hope that you can see why I personally think Loyola Maryland education is worthwhile and a good college choice. And with that, I want to turn it over to you guys for any questions that you have. So I am going to stop sharing, come back to our little booth here. And if any of you have questions, we have just a few more minutes. Feel free to ask them in the chat. And if not, that's okay too. Well, while you're percolating on those questions, the very last thing I will do is I will put this link in the discussion. We have a lot of virtual visit opportunities. Typically, we would be wanting to come to your school and meet you face to face, shake your hand, give you a business card. All of those are obviously no-goes at this point. So we have a lot of virtual visit opportunities. Typically, we will have something going on every weekday. We have information sessions, much like the presentation you just saw, every Monday and Friday at 4 o'clock, in case you have a friend or a parent or someone who wants to look at that. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, we have one-on-one chats with an admissions officer. So if you had more kind of individual questions you wanted answered, you could sign up for one of those. Every Wednesday at 2 o'clock, we'll have some sort of application workshop. So could be an essay writing workshop, could be just how to navigate the college search, the college application workshop. But we also are always happy to set up a time to chat one-on-one with your specific admissions counselor for your region if you can't make those Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday afternoon one-on-one chats. And I will say, just I guess you can see under my little bio under presenter, but if I have anyone here from the Southeast, I will be your admissions officer. So please feel free to reach out to me specifically. Again, my name's Nathaniel Brickhouse. I'd be happy to chat with any of you or any parents or families, anyone who wants to know a little bit more about Loyola Maryland. We're always happy. We're always here. And we'd always love to hear from you. So let me look at the discussion, see if we have any questions. Still don't have anything. So the very last thing I'm going to do is just post our admissions counselor page, just in case you are not from the Southeast and you want to know who your admissions counselor is. You can go to this site, and look by state or county or kind of area. And that will tell you who you should specifically get in touch with if you do have any remaining questions about Loyola and you want to get in touch with your specific admissions counselor. But with that, if we don't have any kind of final questions, I'm going to wrap up just by saying thank you again for taking some time out of your evening to learn about Loyola Maryland. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here and for your attention. Stay healthy, stay safe. Good luck with the college search and really good luck with the application process. I know it's a lot, but you guys can do it. I have the best faith in you. Have a great rest of your night. Take care.